Have you ever wondered why sometimes your manifestations seem to flow effortlessly, while at other times it feels as if the universe has completely ignored your request? You visualize, you affirm, you pray, you even script, yet the very thing you desire seems to remain out of reach. This is not because the universe is against you, it is not because you are not worthy or not powerful enough. In fact, the truth is far more profound and far more empowering. The quantum field is always responding to you. Always. The only question is, what signal are you sending? Most people don't realize that they are sending mixed signals to the quantum field. On one hand, they say, I want abundance, yet deep inside, their body and emotions are still vibrating with fear of lack. On one hand, they say, I am ready for love, but their inner dialogue whispers, I am not lovable. They declare, I trust the universe, yet they constantly check and measure whether anything is happening. And here lies the paradox. The quantum field does not respond to your words, your affirmations, or even your desperate prayers. It responds to your coherence of being. It mirrors the energy you carry consistently. Not occasionally, not when you're meditating for 5 minutes, but all the time. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you are trying to listen to a station, but your dial is constantly slipping between two frequencies, the sound will come through distorted, static, noise, confusion. The message is there, but you can't receive it clearly, because you are not steady. The same principle applies to your manifestations. When your thoughts say one thing but your emotions say another, you are sending a scrambled frequency into the field. Now, I want you to pause and reflect. Imagine for a moment the version of you who is already living in the reality you desire. That version of you is not doubting, not halfway aligned, not toggling between fear and trust. That version is broadcasting a steady, unwavering signal, and that is why reality rearranges to match it. This is the very heart of today's journey. How to stop sending mixed signals to the quantum field, because once you understand this, manifestation no longer feels like a random hit or miss game. You begin to see that the universe is not ignoring you. It is obeying you with absolute precision. If your signal is inconsistent, your results will appear inconsistent. If your signal is clear, reality will mirror clarity back to you. In this video, we are going to explore together what the language of the quantum field truly is, and how it differs from what most people believe. The subtle ways we send mixed signals without realizing it, and how these hidden contradictions sabotage our manifestations. And finally, the practical yet spiritual ways to align your inner state so that the signal you broadcast is pure, steady, and powerful. But before we go deeper, I want to share something important. If you are watching this, it means you are already awakening. You are already different from the version of you who once believed life was only about hard work, effort, or luck. A part of you knows that reality is pliable, that it bends and shifts according to consciousness, that awareness is not random. It is a calling. And yet, even seekers on this path often find themselves frustrated. They try affirmations, vision boards, or meditation, but their results feel inconsistent. This is not because they are failing. It is because they have not yet been taught how to speak the clear language of the quantum field. So let's begin here, gently and compassionately. This is not about blaming yourself for the wrong vibration. This is about becoming conscious of what you are already radiating and learning how to bring it into harmony. Remember, the universe is not punishing you, it is mirroring you. The mirror does not lie, but it also does not judge. It simply reflects what stands before it. Imagine for a moment looking into a mirror and asking, why won't you smile at me? The mirror cannot smile until you smile first. The quantum field is exactly the same. If you look into it with fear, confusion, or doubt, it reflects those states faithfully. But when you show up with clarity, trust, and coherence, the field has no choice but to mirror those qualities back. And this is why mixed signals matter. If part of you is smiling, and part of you is frowning, the mirror cannot give you a clear reflection. The result appears distorted. The truth is simple, yet life-changing. When your signal is clear, your reality becomes clear. In the next section, we'll explore exactly how the quantum field communicates, not in words, not in affirmations, but in the deep invisible resonance of your being. You'll see why consistency matters more than intensity, why coherence matters more than effort, and why the universe is always listening, even in your silence. So stay with me. Let us walk together, not just with our minds, but with our hearts. Because when you truly stop sending mixed signals, you step into a level of manifestation that feels natural, graceful, and almost magical. You are not here to beg the universe. You are here to learn how to broadcast a signal so clear, so steady, that the entire fabric of reality cannot help but rearrange itself to meet you. This, my friend, is the journey we are about to embark on. As we come to the close of this journey, let us return to the simple but life-changing truth we have been circling all along. The quantum field is not ignoring you. It is not withholding your desires. It is not playing games with your destiny. The quantum field is responding to you with perfect accuracy, in every moment, without exception. What you see around you is not a punishment, not a test. It is a mirror. And the clarity of that mirror depends entirely on the clarity of the signal you send. We began with the paradox so many seekers face, wanting one reality, while unconsciously broadcasting another. This is what creates the experience of inconsistency, moments of manifestation, followed by moments of disappointment. But inconsistency in your reality is simply the echo of inconsistency within your vibration. When you send mixed signals, the field reflects mixed results. When you send a clear signal, the field responds with clarity. And so the path forward is not about doing more, forcing harder, or begging the universe. It is about coherence. It is about becoming the version of yourself who no longer oscillates between fear and trust, lack and abundance, doubt and belief. It is about choosing, moment by moment, to embody the frequency of the reality you desire, until it becomes natural, effortless, second nature. Think of everything we have covered together. We have uncovered the language of the quantum field, frequency, resonance, coherence. We have exposed the subtle ways we sabotage ourselves with mixed signals in daily life, and we have explored the practices that help us align, breathing into coherence, visualizing with feeling, setting clear intentions, embodying gratitude, and living deliberately, instead of reactively. These are not abstract ideas. They are practical pathways to becoming a consistent broadcaster of the reality you wish to experience. And here is the most empowering part. You do not need to wait for years of effort, or for perfect conditions to begin. You can start now. In this very moment, you can pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what am I broadcasting? If you notice fear, you can shift into trust. If you notice doubt, you can lean into gratitude. If you notice lack, you can affirm abundance, not with words alone, but with the feeling of fullness in your heart. Every choice recalibrates your signal. Every choice realigns you with the field. So let this be your reminder. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of random chance. You are a co-creator with the infinite field of possibility, and the clarity of your signal is the key that unlocks everything. Stop sending mixed signals. Choose coherence. Choose authenticity. Choose to embody the future self who already lives in the reality you desire. Because when you do, life responds, doors open, opportunities appear, synchronicities unfold, and you realize, with awe and gratitude, that the universe was never against you. It was always mirroring you. The question then is no longer will it work. The question is, am I ready to broadcast clearly? The mirror is waiting. The field is listening. The reality you desire already exists. Align your signal and watch as the world rearranges itself to meet you. If you truly wish to understand why your manifestations sometimes appear and sometimes don't, you must first understand the language of the quantum field. Because here is the truth. The universe does not speak English, or Urdu, or Spanish, or any other human language. It does not care about the exact words you say, the specific affirmations you repeat, or even the vision board you look at. These are all tools, but they are not the message. The quantum field speaks only one language, frequency. Everything you think, everything you feel, everything you embody, generates a vibrational frequency. Just as a radio station broadcasts a particular signal that you can tune into, your inner state is constantly broadcasting into the infinite field of possibilities. And the field, without hesitation, without resistance, mirrors that frequency back into your experience. This is why you can stand in front of a mirror and repeat, I am abundant, 1,000 times. But if your inner frequency is still rooted in lack, what comes back is lack. The words are meaningless, unless the energy behind them matches. Imagine walking into a room where two radios are playing at once. One is tuned to calm, soothing music, and the other is tuned to static and noise. You cannot clearly hear either one. The room feels confused, disordered, unsettled. That is exactly what happens when your mind says one thing, but your body and emotions vibrate with another. The signal you send to the quantum field becomes static, mixed, incoherent, unclear. Now let's look at this through the contrast of the old self versus the new self. The old self is scattered. It tries to force reality with sheer effort. It prays while simultaneously doubting. It says, I believe, but underneath, it whispers, what if it doesn't work? The old self measures reality constantly, checking and checking again, as if trying to force the field to prove itself. This energy is fragmented. It's like shouting one message into the sky, but whispering a completely different one beneath your breath. The new self, however, is coherent. The new self understands that manifestation is not about begging the universe, but about aligning with it. The new self does not just speak affirmations, it embodies them. Its emotions, its body language, its expectations, all hum at the same frequency. When it says, "I am abundant," every part of its being feels abundant. When it says, "I trust the universe," it does not check and measure, it simply rests in that trust. And this coherence is magnetic. The quantum field does not resist, it simply responds. It mirrors back the clarity you give it. Think of a tuning fork. If you strike one tuning fork and place it next to another of the same frequency, the second one will begin to vibrate, even without being touched. This is resonance. Your energy works the same way. When your inner state vibrates at the frequency of love, you begin to attract experiences of love. When you vibrate at trust, life reorganizes to reflect trust. When you vibrate at fear, chaos, or lack, those frequencies resonate in your reality. Here is something most people never realize: the universe is completely neutral. It has no agenda, no judgment, no preference. It does not say, "I will give you abundance because I like you," or "I will withhold love because you don't deserve it." It simply mirrors the vibration you hold. That is why learning to speak the language of frequency is so important. Now, you may ask, how do I know what frequency I am broadcasting? The answer is simple. Look at your life. Reality is the feedback loop. Whatever you see around you is the echo of what you've been broadcasting internally. This is not to blame you, it is to empower you. Because once you understand the language of the field, you can begin to shift your signal consciously. Let's use a metaphor to make this clearer. Imagine that you are standing at the edge of a great ocean. Every thought, every emotion, every intention you send out is like tossing a pebble into that ocean. Ripples move outward, combining with one another, overlapping, reinforcing, or canceling each other out. If you throw in pebbles of joy, love, and gratitude, the ripples that return to you carry those same qualities. But if you throw in pebbles of fear, doubt, or resentment, the ripples that return will carry that frequency back. Now, imagine what happens when you throw in both at once. A pebble of love, followed by a pebble of fear, a ripple of trust, followed by a ripple of doubt. The ocean is confused, not because it chooses to be, but because you have sent mixed signals into it. The ripples clash, overlap, and distort. The return waves are messy, inconsistent, and so your reality reflects exactly that inconsistency. But when you choose coherence, when you throw pebble after pebble of the same intention, the same emotion, the same belief, the ripples align, they amplify one another, they grow stronger, clearer, unstoppable. That is the power of consistency in the quantum field. This is why intensity is less important than steadiness. You can sit for an hour in meditation, feeling deeply abundant, but if you then spend the rest of your day worrying about bills, the overall signal is scrambled. The quantum field is always listening, always responding, not just to your moments of focus, but to the general frequency you carry most of the time. So, what is the language of the quantum field? It is not about begging or bargaining. It is not about dramatic rituals. It is about coherence, consistency, and resonance. It is about becoming the vibration of what you desire, not just sometimes, but as a natural state of being. And here is the beauty of it. You are already broadcasting. You cannot not send a signal. Every breath, every heartbeat, every thought, every emotion is part of your transmission. The only question is whether your transmission is clear or mixed. When you understand this, life begins to shift. You stop asking, "Why isn't it working?" and instead ask, "What frequency am I broadcasting?" You begin to notice your thoughts, your feelings, your body state. You catch the subtle contradictions, the moments where you say one thing but feel another. And awareness alone is powerful, because once you see the static, you can choose to tune the dial. In the next part of our journey, we will bring this down to earth. We will look at the daily habits, the small unconscious patterns that create mixed signals in your life, because it is often not the big dramatic actions that sabotage us, but the quiet, everyday contradictions we carry. Once you see them, you can shift them, and once you shift them, your signal becomes clear. Remember, the quantum field is not far away. It is not some mysterious force outside of you. It is here, now, within you, and all around you. You are in constant conversation with it. Every thought, Every feeling, every belief is a word in that conversation. And when the words align, when the signal is pure, the field responds instantly, naturally, inevitably. This is the language of the quantum field: frequency, coherence, resonance. And once you master it, reality itself begins to sing your song. Up to this point, we have explored what mixed signals are and how they play out in your daily life. We've seen that the quantum field does not respond to your words, but to the frequency behind them. Now, it is time to take this wisdom and translate it into practice. Because awareness alone is powerful, but awareness without alignment will still leave your results inconsistent. To truly shift your reality, you must learn how to broadcast a clear, steady signal that leaves no room for confusion. The good news is this: alignment is not complicated. It does not require hours of rituals or years of study. It requires intention, consistency, and the willingness to become the version of yourself who already lives in the reality you desire. In this section, we will explore simple, yet deeply transformative practices that help you stop sending mixed signals and begin radiating coherence. Let us begin with the foundation: state over words. If the universe listens to your vibration rather than your speech, then your first priority must be your inner state. This is why people who say very little can still manifest powerfully, because their entire being hums at a consistent frequency. So the question becomes, how do you shift your state? One of the most effective tools is coherence breathing. When your breath is shallow, rapid, or irregular, your body vibrates in stress and survival. But when you breathe deeply, evenly, and with awareness, your heart and brain fall into coherence. This state of inner harmony broadcasts clarity to the quantum field. A simple practice: inhale slowly for 5 seconds, exhale slowly for 5 seconds, and repeat for a few minutes. As you do, bring to mind a feeling of gratitude or love. This is not just relaxation, it is energetic alignment. Next, we come to embodied visualization. Many people visualize their desires only with their mind, as if watching a movie. But the true power comes when you step into the scene, when you feel it as if it is happening now. If you are visualizing abundance, do not simply see yourself holding money. Feel the relief of bills paid, the joy of generosity, the security of freedom. If you are visualizing love, do not just imagine a partner. Feel the warmth of connection, the laughter, the sense of being cherished. The more vividly you feel, the clearer your signal becomes. And here is a crucial detail: do not only visualize the end result, visualize the version of yourself who naturally lives in that reality. Ask yourself, who am I when I already have what I desire? How do I walk, speak, breathe, and carry myself? Step into that version, because when you become the frequency of the future self, the quantum field has no choice but to mirror it. Another essential practice is intention setting. Many people approach manifestation as a vague wish: I hope this happens, I hope life gives me this. But vague signals create vague results. Intention is different. Intention is not a wish, it is a decision. It is a declaration of who you are becoming. When you set a clear intention, you are not begging the universe, you are aligning with a reality that already exists. And when your thoughts, emotions, and actions reinforce that intention, your signal sharpens like a laser beam. Now, let us address the role of emotional consistency. Emotions are the fuel of your frequency. If your words say abundance, but your emotions radiate fear, the field mirrors fear. This is why gratitude is often called the master frequency. Gratitude aligns you with receiving. It tells the universe, I already have, I am already fulfilled. Even if your external circumstances do not yet match, practicing gratitude shifts your inner state, and the field responds accordingly. But alignment is not only about inner practices, it is also about your daily behavior. Every action you take either reinforces your signal or scrambles it. For example, if you are manifesting health but continue to treat your body with neglect, you send contradictory signals. If you are manifesting love but consistently avoid intimacy or vulnerability, you broadcast mixed energy. Alignment requires congruence. This does not mean perfection. It means your choices reflect the reality you say you are calling in. Here is where we revisit contrast: reactive living versus deliberate living. Reactive living means letting external circumstances dictate your inner state. You wake up feeling good, but one negative comment ruins your mood. You meditate on abundance, but a bill pulls you into lack. This constant reactivity sends out unstable frequencies. Deliberate living means choosing your state, regardless of external triggers. You notice the bill, but you still choose trust. You hear criticism, but you still anchor into self-worth. This steadiness is what the quantum field mirrors. Deliberate living does not ignore reality, it transcends it. Another alignment tool is ritualizing your signal. Humans are creatures of habit, and rituals anchor frequencies into the body. You might begin your day by lighting a candle and declaring, "Today I walk in abundance," or end your night by journaling 3 ways the universe supported you. These simple acts tell your subconscious, "This is who I am, this is what I embody." Over time they stabilize your frequency until it becomes natural. Let us not forget the importance of trust and surrender. Many people scramble their signal by constantly checking whether their manifestation is working. They plant the seed, then dig it up every day to see if it has sprouted. This is doubt disguised as control. Alignment requires patience. Just as a farmer waters the soil and trusts the sun, you must release the need to control timing and trust that the field is rearranging. Trust is the clearest signal of all, because it says, "I know it is done." Now some may ask, what if fear still comes? What if doubt still whispers? The answer is not to resist or fight these emotions, but to gently redirect them. Alignment does not mean never feeling fear. It means noticing when fear arises, and choosing not to feed it. It means shifting back into gratitude, trust, or love. Over time this becomes a natural reflex. And here is a profound truth. Alignment is not about forcing yourself into joy all the time. It is about coherence. If you are sad, but you allow yourself to feel it fully and honestly, you are still coherent. The mixed signal arises when you say, "I'm happy," while secretly denying your pain. Authenticity is alignment. Pretending is distortion. So the path of alignment is not perfection. It is authenticity, consistency, and choice. When your thoughts, emotions, actions, and intentions harmonize, your frequency becomes unmistakable. The quantum field mirrors it with precision, because the signal is finally clear. As we move into the conclusion, remember this: you do not have to earn alignment. It is your natural state. Beneath the noise of fear and doubt, you already are abundant. You already are love. You already are whole. The practices we have explored are simply ways to remove the static so that your natural frequency can shine through. And when it shines through, reality cannot resist. It must reflect. Now that we've uncovered the true language of the quantum field, it's time to bring this wisdom into the ordinary rhythms of daily life. Because while it may sound mystical, the truth is that the signals you send are not only shaped by your meditations, visualizations, or rituals. They are shaped, most powerfully, by the small repeated patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior that fill your everyday moments. This is where many seekers stumble without even realizing it. They devote energy to affirmations or guided visualizations, but the rest of their day is spent broadcasting the exact opposite frequency. It's not intentional, it's unconscious. And this unconscious patterning is often where the mixed signals are being generated. Let's begin with one of the most common areas: abundance and money. You may sit quietly in meditation, visualizing yourself wealthy, free, abundant. For those minutes, you feel expansive. You imagine opportunities flowing, bills being paid with ease, your life infused with prosperity. That is one signal. But then you open your phone and check your bank balance. A wave of anxiety hits. What if I can't make it this month? What if something goes wrong? What if I'm not safe? In that moment, your body contracts, your stomach tightens, your breath shortens. That is a completely different signal. To the quantum field, these two broadcasts are contradictory. In the morning, you're tuned to abundance. By afternoon, you're tuned to fear. And so, reality reflects both, a mix of moments of flow, followed by setbacks, followed by small breakthroughs, followed again by scarcity. The pattern feels inconsistent, but in truth, the field is simply echoing back the inconsistency of the signals. Or consider love and relationships. You affirm, "I am worthy of love. I am attracting my perfect partner." You even visualize a beautiful relationship where you are seen, cherished, and adored. That is one signal. But then later in the day, a friend shares their engagement photos, and instead of feeling joy, you feel envy. A whisper inside says, "Why them, not me? Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe love always skips me." That is another signal. The quantum field does not judge. It simply mirrors, and so it reflects a mix: moments of connection, followed by rejection, glimpses of intimacy, followed by loneliness. Again, the reflection feels unstable, but the cause is the unstable frequency being sent. Now let's go even deeper, to the realm of self-worth. Many people repeat affirmations like, "I love myself," or "I am confident," but when faced with challenges, when criticized by others, or when comparing themselves to someone else's success, the inner voice turns harsh. I'll never be enough. I'm always behind. Others are better. Do you see the pattern? The conscious mind declares one thing, while the subconscious hums a completely different tune. The body listens to the subconscious, the emotions obey the subconscious, and so the overall frequency leans toward doubt, even if the conscious words sound positive. This is what it means to send mixed signals in daily life. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes, it's as subtle as saying, I am healthy, while silently worrying every time you feel a symptom, or saying I trust the process, while constantly checking if anything has changed. Let's look at this through the lens of contrast, old self versus new self. The old self believes manifestation happens in bursts. It thinks, if I just do this meditation, if I just say this affirmation, I will get what I want. It treats manifestation like a transaction, something you do for a few minutes a day, hoping the universe rewards you. But the rest of the time, the old self falls back into worry, self-doubt, and fear. That creates static. The new self understands that manifestation is a lifestyle. It is not about 5 minutes of alignment. It is about cultivating a frequency that flows through every moment. The new self walks into a store, and even if the bank account looks low, it still feels the vibration of abundance. The new self wakes up in the morning, and before checking messages, rests in gratitude and trust. The new self is not perfect, but it is consistent. And consistency is clarity. Here's another everyday example: opportunities and career. You might declare, I am open to new opportunities. I am manifesting success. That is one signal, but then, when an opportunity arises, you hesitate. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if I embarrass myself? That hesitation is another signal. To the quantum field, it's like pressing the gas pedal and the brake at the same time. The car lurches, but it doesn't flow. The result: half opportunities, leads that fizzle out, interviews that don't lead anywhere. Again, not because the universe is against you, but because the frequency you are sending is confused. This is why awareness is so powerful. The moment you begin noticing your daily contradictions, you reclaim choice. You realize, this is where I'm mixing my signal. This is where my words say one thing, but my emotions say another. And remember, this is not about blaming yourself. It's about awakening. You cannot shift a signal you don't see. Awareness is the first step toward coherence. Here's a simple reflection exercise. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, what am I broadcasting right now? Not what you are saying, but what you are truly feeling. Are you radiating trust or fear, gratitude or lack, expansion or contraction? This single question can reveal the hidden signals that shape your reality. Let's return to the metaphor of the mirror. If you stand in front of a mirror and smile for 5 seconds, but frown for the next 55, what reflection will you see? Mostly the frown. The mirror is not cruel, it's accurate. In the same way, if you align for a few minutes each morning, but spend the rest of your day in doubt, the quantum field reflects mostly the doubt. Now this may sound discouraging at first, but in truth, it is liberating. Because the moment you choose consistency, the field responds immediately. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to never feel fear. You simply have to notice when your signals are mixed, and gently bring them back into coherence. And coherence, my friend, is less about force and more about choice. You don't have to fight fear. You can choose to shift into trust. You don't have to erase doubt. You can choose to lean into gratitude. You don't have to resist lack. You can choose to focus on what is already flowing. This is how you stop sending mixed signals in daily life, by catching the small contradictions, and choosing again, moment by moment, until the new signal becomes your natural state. And once it becomes natural, life begins to feel different. You start to notice synchronicities. People show up at the right time, opportunities feel smoother, relationships feel more harmonious. It doesn't happen because the universe suddenly decided to bless you. It happens because you finally stopped confusing the mirror. So as we move forward, we will now explore the practices that help you align your signal deliberately. We will shift from simply noticing the contradictions to actively tuning your frequency with clarity. Because awareness is the first step, but practice is the bridge. And when awareness meets practice, coherence becomes inevitable.